Today's top stories. Hot or not built the internet we're still swiping through, Reverse-Lookup service exposed millions of photos of people's faces. There's a very simple reason why you love the Slate truck, Dell XPS 13 versus MacBook Neo. A surprising upset, we bought a $500 counterfeit Rolex so good, even Rolex didn't spot it. I tried a window cleaning robot. Do not recommend. Relativity Networks raises $22 million to bring a faster kind of fiber to data centers. You can Venmo your college tuition. For some reason, AI isn't close to curing cancer. This startup says it knows what it will take. And CareCloud confirms 3.7M patients had their medical records stolen in data breach. We start with hot or not built the internet we're still swiping through. Hot or not built the internet we're still swiping through. Before the internet learned to like, match, and swipe, it learned to ask one brutally simple question: hot or not? Launched in 2000, Hot or Not invited people to upload photographs of themselves and be rated by strangers on a scale from 1 to 10. It was crude, addictive, and within weeks, one of the most visited sites on the web. More importantly, it turned an intensely subjective judgment, whether someone was attractive, into structured data that could be ranked, compared, and used to organize human behavior. 26 years later, the dating industry appears to be retreating from the internet hot or not helped create. Earlier this month, Bumble founder and chief executive Whitney Wolfe Herd said the company was moving away from its swipe format toward fewer, better, more considered signals. A day earlier, Match Group, the company behind Tinder, said that the app will introduce more in-person events by the end of the year. Tinder Events was launched earlier this year, offering offline experiences in response to its declining user base. The more immediate plan is to expand into 26 cities worldwide by the end of September, after a quarter-century spent optimizing how we rate and ray. Reverse-Lookup service exposed millions of photos of people's faces. When someone uploads a photo to the People Search tool Clarity Check, the website has a clear message: your reverse image search is private and secure. New research, though, shows that the website left more than 9 million image files, including photographs of people's faces, publicly exposed. And a second misconfiguration publicly exposed people's email addresses and phone numbers. Overall, according to findings from independent security researcher Jeremiah Fowler, the exposed Clarity Check database contained roughly 450 GB of images, including what appeared to be profile images, screenshots, and other photographs of adults, teenagers, and children. All of the images were stored in an unsecured Amazon S3 bucket, with files in folders named Faces and Profiles, which could be accessed by anyone online through a URL included in the company's publicly available website code. Clarity Check is one of a number of so-called people finder tools that have appeared online in recent years. These websites broadly claim to be able to search the web, public records, and other databases to identify individuals. Clarity Check's website says it can run searches on phone numbers, email addresses, v. There's a very simple reason why you love the Slate truck. Tisha Johnson is a rare anomaly in the car world, a design leader for an automaker who is not a man. In a resolutely testosterone-fueled industry where traditionally women have seemingly been given positions of authority in design labs as long as they focus on interiors, colors, or material selections, very few have been afforded free rein on the most important visual element of the car, the exterior, let alone promoted to run the entire aesthetic show. Johnson has. As head of design at Slate, this gender-specific fact might be why the world has fallen in love with the Jeff Bezos. Casual observers might put the Slate EV's popularity down to its low price. Starting at $24,950, the Slate arriving later this year won't just be the cheapest EV on the U.S. market. It will also be the cheapest pickup truck of any power flavor. But people buy cheap all the time. Be it a pickup or portable speaker, cheap doesn't mean they love the product. It usually means a compromise, and it's hard to love a compromise. The real trick is in creating something beautiful and accessible. It's a hard task. Ask Joni Ive, who has fashioned the best-looking automotive interior in decades for the $64. Dell XPS 13 versus MacBook Neo. A surprising upset. Ever since the MacBook Neo was announced this spring, I've been looking for a serious alternative, not a cheap knockoff that sacrifices quality for price. No, I was hunting for a Windows laptop with the same goal as the MacBook Neo, hiding its compromises and delivering an otherwise premium laptop at a lower cost. For months, it was crickets. Then the Dell XPS-13 showed up on my doorstep, and it understood the assignment. For many reasons, this was the one I'd been waiting for. But the question remains, is it actually the better budget laptop? The answer surprised me when I dug into the testing. Hidden compromises when the MacBook Neo was originally announced, it was a shocker. Apple coming in at the $599 price point for the base configuration felt unreal. Apple had never in its history brought the MacBook to such a low price. Even at its new $699 starting price, it's in unprecedented territory. Importantly, this encroached on the territory of Windows laptops, where it has traditionally had a monopoly. And while many Windows laptops are available at this price, they suffer from many of the same problems, such as cheap materials or corners cut with low-quality displays and touch. We bought a $500 counterfeit Rolex so good, even Rolex didn't spot it. Would you like a glass of champagne? Even though I'm painfully thirsty and nervous beyond belief, I decline the salesperson's offer. I'm sitting upstairs in Rolex's flagship London store on Old Bond Street. I've just handed over a fake Rolex to the staff and requested that its bracelet be adjusted, a simple bit of maintenance that requires removing a few links. I haven't volunteered that the watch is a phony, but I haven't said it's legit either. My imposter Oyster Perpetual is now on a workbench in the glass-fronted servicing room on the second floor. I can see staff in white lab coats working diligently as a salesperson joins them to carefully examine the timepiece before downsizing the metal bracelet. This replica is one of a few Wired has purchased on the internet. So far, nobody in the store has spotted that the watch is a fake. Surely the game's about to be up? Maybe there's just time to slip away before the police are called. After what feels like far too long, the salesperson returns. He, like his colleagues downstairs did when I arrived, congratulates me on a beautiful watch and hands me back the counterfeit timepiece, now perfectly sized. The removed links have been PL. I tried a window cleaning robot. Do not recommend. I love the idea of robots taking over menial tasks, so I was excited to try the Ecovacs Winbot W2S Omni. This premium window cleaning robot is highly rated online. I have a robot vacuum and a robot mower, and I would never go back to doing these chores myself. Sadly, I had such a traumatically awful experience with the Ecovacs Winbot W2S Omni that I'm left wondering why anyone would want a window cleaning robot at all. Before I embark on this tale of woe, I should point out that most of my issues are with the whole category, not the Ecovacs Winbot W2S Omni specifically. There are circumstances where I can imagine it working well. I briefly tested another window cleaning robot, the much cheaper Mova N1, $199, for comparison, and can attest that the Ecovacs has a much smarter design and cleans more efficiently. It might even be the best window cleaning robot you can get. I just don't think a robot for cleaning windows is worthwhile for most homes. Love Wired. Add us as a preferred source on Google to see more of us. The Ecovacs Winbot W2S Omni has a smart design and comes in a charging case that includes its own battery. The case has slots and compartments for cables, spare. Relativity Networks raises $22 million to bring a faster kind of fiber to data centers. Data center developers are expected to spend as much as $4 trillion by the end of the decade, and they're already heavily constrained by both political and power grid considerations in where they can build. But while most treat the speed of fiber as a given, one company is betting that faster fiber could change the geographical math behind the data center build-out. On Tuesday, Relativity Networks announced $22 million in Safe Note funding drawn by Rhapsody Venture Partners, Bell Ventures Inc., and Faster Than Glass LLC, among others. A Safe Note, in which an investment transfers into a specific numbers of shares once the company raises its first priced round, is a standard method used for pre-seed and seed rounds. The company also secured a $40 million follow-on order from a leading hyperscaler that declined to be named for this piece. Relativity Networks deals in hollow-core fiber, a rarely deployed technology that allows data to be transmitted 50% faster than conventional fiber. Where traditional fiber transmits light through fiber optic glass, hollow-core fiber transmits the same light through a vacuum chamber in the center of the line, bringing it far closer to the theoretical. You can Venmo your college tuition for some reason. College is a constellation of Venmo requests. Your roommate's cut of the utilities, your half of an Uber ride, the ticket to your friends, a cappella performance that you don't actually want to go to. On Wednesday, Venmo's parent company PayPal announced that you will now be able to use its services to pay your tuition. Venmo and PayPal are partnering with the education payment platforms Illumia, Nelnet Campus Commerce, and TouchNet, which collectively serve thousands of colleges and universities, giving students and families another way to pay their tuition. Yes, you can make one of the largest payments of your life on the same app, where you can see that someone from high school is paying for leaf emoji, fire emoji, smoke emoji, whatever that could possibly mean. You might open the Venmo app when your friend gets you a latte, then think, oh, right, I haven't paid my tuition yet. Let me do that real quick. For students and families, tuition is the single biggest financial decision they'll navigate for higher education, said Nelnet Campus Commerce President Jackie Strobing in a statement. Every payment option we add, including PayPal and Venmo, is about meeting them at that. AI isn't close to curing cancer. This startup says it knows what it will take. A biotech startup called Vividyne says the AI drug discovery industry has a data problem and that it has built a machine to fix it. Hive modular robotic labs built by the company can grow 20 kinds of human tissue, then autonomously dose and monitor them, generating the kind of causal biological data that today's AI models are missing, data that today mostly comes from animal testing or studies of single cells or proteins, not living tissue. Absent human testing, what are these AI models going to do? Asks Andrei Georgescu, Vividyne's CEO and co-founder. They're going to cure cancer in mice. Even Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei wrote over the weekend that claims that AI will cure cancer have become more cliché than credible. The thing that will work is actually curing cancer, as he put it. To be fair, the idea that AI will cure cancer is something Amodei himself has tossed out in previous essays. Sam Altman has repeatedly cited curing cancer as a justification for OpenAI's push toward AGI and ever larger compute buildouts. And Google DeepMind's Demis Hassabis said last year that AI could potentially cure all disease within a decade. The actual results remain tepid. A handful. CareCloud confirms 3.7M patients had their medical records stolen in data breach. Hackers have stolen the personal information and medical records of more than 3.75 million people in a data breach at health data giant CareCloud, the company has confirmed with federal regulators. The disclosure marks the first confirmation of the scale of the data breach, which is now confirmed to be the fifth largest theft of health data in 2026 so far. CareCloud detailed the March data breach in a filing with the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, on Monday. The number of affected victims was reportedly revised up in an update on Tuesday, though it's unclear if the figure is expected to rise further. The New Jersey-based tech company provides electronic medical record storage to tens of thousands of healthcare providers around the United States, consequently serving millions of patients. CareCloud handles a large amount of patient data and billing information on behalf of hospitals, doctors' offices, and other medical practices. CareCloud has not publicly commented on the cyberattack since it disclosed the breach in March, when it said hackers had accessed patients' medical data stored in one of its cloud storage environments over 6 days. The company later said in. That's all for this news briefing. Thanks for listening. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.